Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Do I have a great story for you today? This story is about a man, a legend, a freedom fighter in Kenya, known as Koitalel Arap Samoei. Koitalel fought the British soldiers, and that's why he became a legend. This story, some of you may know, others may not. But please join me as we tell this story of Koitalel Arap Samoei from the Nandi tribe, the Greater Kalenjin community that was one of the many tribes in Kenya. Kenya has 45 tribes, and the Kalenjin is one of the tribes, and Nandis is part of that greater community that fought against the British. But this story is being told because of the heroic ventures that Koitalel Arap Samoei and the Nandis did against the British. Please join me as we tell this story of the legend of Koitalel Arap Samoei. Hadithi, you say hadithi njo. Hadithi njo. Hadithi njo. Can I tell you a story? I say ina, you say outa. I say ina, you say outa. I say ina. Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Hadithi. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once upon a time, there lived a group of people called the Nandi people. The Nandi people were amazing warriors who could run up and down the mountains without getting tired or weary. The Nandi people were amazing warriors. They often attacked other neighboring communities late at night, plundering all their goat, all their sheep, and all their belongings, and running up the mountain. The Nandi warriors were often encouraged by some of their supreme chiefs who were called Orkoiyot. Yes, the Orkoiyots, or the supreme chiefs, instilled unflinching fearlessness amongst the Nandi warriors. One of those Orkoiyot chiefs was a man named Kimnyole. Yes, Kimnyole, he had 4 sons. Right before Kimnyole died, he called all his 4 sons because he wanted to bless them. One by one, he called them into his hut, and he put a big pot between his knees, and he called them, and he said, "Come into my hut, look inside the pot, and tell me what you see inside the pot." And according to what they saw, he would bless them. And so the first son, he walked in, he looked inside the pot, and he whispered to his father's ears what he saw in the pot. And his father gave him a big piece of land. The second son, he walked inside the hut, and he looked inside the big pot, and he whispered in his father's ears, and he was given an even bigger piece of land. The third son, he walked in, he looked inside the pot, and he whispered to his father what he saw, and he was given a big piece of land. The last born, or the fourth son, Koitalel Arap Samoei, he walked in, he looked inside the pot. "I see nothing," he said to his father. "Total darkness. I see nothing. Father, I do not want land." His father was surprised. "Son, don't you know whoever has land has wealth?" "Yes, but I see darkness. I don't see anything," said Koitalel Arap Samoei. "Our people, Father, are perishing because of lack of vision. Our people are perishing because of lack of vision for a future. I I want a prophetic vision. I want to be able to see into the future, he told his father. He who sees into the future owns the wealth. His father, Kimnyole, he looked at him and said, son, you have made a very noble request. May it be done to you according to your wishes. But nevertheless, I am going to give you the 3 sticks that symbolize the Nandi leadership. And the father gave him the 3 sticks. It wasn't long after that the father died. And after the father died, the brothers had a dispute on who should be the next Orkoiyot. The first son, he stood up and said, I deserve to be the next Orkoiyot because I am the firstborn and therefore I have the right to be the next Orkoiyot. The second son, he stood up and said, I deserve to be the next Orkoiyot because I was given the biggest piece of land by our father right before he died. The third son, he stood, I should be the next Orkoiyot because I am our father's favorite. They dismissed the fourth son because he did not get any land. The elder said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Don't you know that a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand? We cannot stand and see the sons of Kimnyole fight over leadership. We, the Nandi elders, have decided whoever has the 3 sticks that signify the Nandi leadership will be the next Orkoiyot. And Koitalel Arap Samoei, surprisingly, he stood up and he gave the elders the 3 sticks that symbolized the Nandi leadership. And he was immediately anointed as the next supreme leader or supreme chief or Orkoiyot of the Nandis. The other brothers plotted against him. But the elders stood up and said, do not lay a finger on the anointed one. He is the anointed leader. And therefore, do not put your finger on the anointed leader. Koitalel Arap Samoei, he led the Nandi people with power, with authority, and a prophetic vision to see into the future. His first order of business was to instill unflinching fearlessness amongst the Nandis that is unknown to any tribe. He gave the Nandi warriors the spirit of power. He took away the spirit of fear and gave them the spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And he told the Nandi people, he taught them how to stare directly into the eye of the problem, how to look a problem directly in the eye without blinking. He taught them, if you stare directly at any ferocious leopard, any ferocious lion, chances are the lion will blink and run away. He taught them how to squarely look into the eye of the problem. He taught them how to stare without blinking. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have the audacity, the tenacity to be a Nandi warrior? I want you to look at me squarely in the eye and see if you have the tenacity of a Nandi warrior. Look ferociously without blinking. I want you to look at me right now. Look at me. Look at me. Yes. I blinked. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a Nandi warrior because I blinked. These brothers could stare ferociously into the eyes of any ferocious leopard without blinking until the animal would scamper away. Scamper away. That's how tenacious and ferocious their staring was without blinking. How did you do? Did you blink? Do you have the tenacity, the ferociousness of a Nandi warrior? Ladies and gentlemen, he taught them how to conquer any enemy. No spirit of fear, spirit of power, spirit of love, and of a sound mind. And the second thing he did was to root out any fearful soldiers. He called them on his famous rock. He climbed on top of the rock where he used to climb to address the people. And he told them, kama hakuna kaa na mama yako usikuje hapa. Kaa na mama yako. Kama hakuna kaa na mama yako usikuje hapa. Kaa na mama yako. Kama hakuna kaa na mama yako usikuje hapa. Kaa na mama yako. Kama hakuna kaa na mama yako usikuje hapa. Kaa na mama yako. Kama hakuna kaa na mama yako usikuje hapa. Kaa na mama yako. Kama, which means if you are afraid, stay home with your mother. Don't come and waste our time. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Koitalel Arap Samoei, he also prophesied. He said that it wasn't long, a strange white person would come into their land riding on a long metallic snake with smoke coming out of the nostrils of the snake. He told them, do not allow this metallic snake into our land. Do not allow this white-skinned person whose skin is as white as cotton in our land. Brother Koitalel Arap Samoei, he also prophesied. He said, one day, if I die, I want to be buried under that simatuet tree, under that fig tree. And next to that fig tree, another tree will grow right next to it. These trees will both grow side by side. And one day, when both trees are all grown and their leaves touch, their branches touch, that will signify the beginning of the fulfillment of restoration of the Nandi people. He also prophesied that time was coming, and it wasn't long, that birds would perch in people's ears. And these birds would send messages all over the world. A time is coming, and that time is soon. Birds will come and perch in people's earlobes, and these birds will send messages all over the world. He said the day that he dies, the sun will grow dark and birds will perch, sending messages into people's earlobes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it wasn't long the British came into Africa. Let me tell you something about the British. You see, the British were amazing soldiers. The British, they call themselves the Great Britain. Why? Because everywhere that they went, they bulldozed, they conquered. They had a big army, and nothing could stop in their ways. They went to India. They conquered the Indians. They went to Pakistan. They conquered the Pakistanis. They went to India and slapped them. They went to Pakistan and slapped the Pakistanis. They came to Africa. They went to West Africa. They slapped the Nigerians. They went to Ghana, slapped Ghanaians. They went to Gambia, Mali, slapped them. Sierra Leone, they slapped them. Part of Cameroon, they slapped them. They went to South Africa, they slapped South Africa. They went to Botswana, slapped Botswana. Malawi, slapped Malawi. Zimbabwe, they slapped Zimbabwe. They went to Somali, slapped Somali. Sudan, slapped Sudan. Tanganyika, they slapped Tanganyika. Uganda, they slapped Uganda. They came to Kenya. Kama kuna kana mama yako usikuje hapa. Kana mama yako. Koitalel and the many Kenyan communities stood strong. But no one stood stronger than the Nandi Chief Orkoiyot Koitalel Arap Samoei. The British met their match. They did not know what they were going against it. The Nandis were amazing warriors. Unflinching fearlessness in the face of any audacity to fear nothing. When the British came, the Nandis were ready for them. They stopped the construction of the railway line because the British came. All they wanted to do is build a railway line so that they could transport gold from Africa, diamonds, platinum, silver, anything they wanted, and put on the railway line and go. Send everything back to Great Britain. Send everything back. Build a railway line. Send everything. Send everything. Send everything back to Great Britain. And when they started to build a railway line from the port of Mombasa all the way to Kisumu, running across Kenya so that they could transport everything that they had. When they got to the Nandi Hills, Koitalel Arap Samoei stood up and said, Kama kuna kana mama yako usikuje hapa. Kana mama yako. He put up such a resistance. It wasn't just for 1 year. It wasn't for 2 years. It wasn't for 3 years. It wasn't for 5 years. The queen was getting impatient. He said, she sent some of her best military men, some of her best tacticians, but they could not. Why do you think the Nandis put up such a strong resistance against the British? Partly because the Nandis, they knew their terrain. They knew all the hills and mountains. They knew where all the meandering rivers were. They knew where all the escarpments were. They knew where all the waterfalls and where all the water catchment areas were. They knew which mountains had the man-eating lions. Yes! Sometimes they would go up the hill, lead the British soldiers up the mountain, and they would run down, leaving the British soldiers, yes, to face those man-eating lions. Oh, I tell you, the man-eating lions had a feast. The man-eating lions had a feast. The man-eating lions had a feast. Sometimes the Nandi warriors would go up the mountain and pray to their gods to send rain and lightning and cry out, Hilet, 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 meaning lightning, lightning, Hilet, Hilet, Hilet. And their gods would send out rain, thunderstorm, and lightning, Hilet, 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 lightning, boom, all the way down. And the British could not stand the lightning and thunder and the rainfalls that would come flooding down. The Nandis, they would run up and down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have you seen those people who run long distance marathons? Yes, that's the community. Yes, they could run up and down. Those skinny people that weigh nothing but 110 pounds with 0% body fat. Yes, they could run. They could run circles around the British soldiers. Even though the British had the best weapons that the world has ever seen. But the Nandi warriors had the heart. And they knew their terrain. And they had the power, love, sound mind, unflinching fearlessness. The queen was getting impatient. The queen sent more people and said, learn their language. Send spies amongst them. Create discord amongst the tribes so they fight amongst each other. When the tribes fight amongst each other, they become weak. But Koitalel Arap Samoei, when the spies were sent, he switched their language. He told his Nandi warriors, we are not going to use our language. We are going to start speaking in codes, in sounds of birds and animals. And the Nandis, they would speak in codes. The British were flabbergasted. They could not understand the codes of all this bird sound. Sending signals with bird sounds and animal sounds that the British were like, what in the world is going on? The British soldiers were also getting sick from some of those diseases like malaria, like cholera, like bilharzia, like kipindupindu. But the Nandis, they were immune. Nothing could touch them. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6, 7. Ladies and gentlemen, for 11 good years. 11 good years, everything stood to a standstill. Everything stood to a standstill. Everything, 11 years. No railway line was being built. And the queen could not take it. Finally, the queen sent one of his best side tacticians. His name was Colonel Richard Menezagen, to make peace with the Nandi people. Yes, they had to make peace with the Nandi people. So they sent Colonel Richard Menezagen. And when Colonel Richard Menezagen, he came and he said he wanted to meet with Koitalel Arap Samoei. And so they set up a place to meet. They agreed that Koitalel Arap Samoei would bring 5 people to this meeting place. And Colonel Richard Menezagen, he would bring 5 people to this meeting place. But Colonel Richard Menezagen, yes, he was very sly and slick. He brought 80 people and hid them all around the place where they were supposed to meet. And when it came time to meet, the two men, Koitalel Arap Samoei and Menezagen, when they came to meet, to shake hands, right before they shook hands, Richard Menezagen, he drew his gun and point blank, he shot Koitalel Arap Samoei in the head. And Koitalel Arap Samoei died. He didn't stop there. He stood up. He cut the head of Koitalel Arap Samoei. And he sent the head all the way to London. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak right now, the head of Koitalel Arap Samoei sits in a museum in London. The British tried to send the head to Japan, but Japan said, keep it. The head of Koitalel Arap Samoei sits in a London museum. When you take care of the shepherd, sometimes, most of the time, the sheep will scatter. That's how the Nandis lost their grip, and the British was able to bulldoze. Today, as we speak, a huge mausoleum has been built on the grave of Koitalel Arap Samoei. A university has been named after him. Ladies and gentlemen, the two trees that he said have grown bigger and bigger, years and years and years. Finally, in 2005, the branches of those trees met. Yes, the branches met, signaling the beginning of the fulfillment on the restoration of the Nandi people. It wasn't long, ladies and gentlemen, after his death. Years have passed, ladies and gentlemen. The vision that he saw of the birds was nothing but, yes, the wax of the cell phone. Now everybody's using cell phone, like a bird that perches in your ear, sending messages all over the world. Can you imagine if we had such leaders, such visionaries, who could see into the future, how our lives would be? This is the legend of Koitalel, Arap Samoei, the man who stopped the British standstill for 11 cold years. The Queen could not do anything. They sent up a peace treaty, which was a fake peace treaty, and that's how they got Koitalel, Arap Samoei. His story is told. His story must be retold. His story must be known, not just for us, but for the future generations to come. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, for partaking with me in the story of this legend, Koitalel, Arap Samoei. Thank you very much.